Hello, my name is Peter Cameron, and I'm a 2019 Grosvenor Teacher Fellow. I was selected by National Geographic and Lindblad expeditions to join them on a 2-week adventure from Seattle, Washington, via the Inside Passage to Sitka, Alaska. It is my pleasure to invite you on my expedition to experience all the awe and wonder of this incredibly beautiful remote area of our world. As we traveled aboard the National Geographic Quest, every day brought something new, something wonderful. It was a place like no other. Incredibly rugged mountains and beautiful cascading waterfalls dropping off of seemingly endless cliffs. Then there were the trees, Sitkas, cedars, and Douglas firs, reaching endlessly into the sky, contrasted by the dainty, vibrant plant life that dotted the trails, hugged the shores, and clung to the cliffs. I was incredibly privileged to work alongside some of National Geographic's best and most renowned photographers. It seemed that every step I took or stroke I paddled, opportunity for taking photos were upon me, but particularly the ice. The ever-changing shapes and hues of the glaciers and icebergs at times left me speechless. Although I live in Thunder Bay, never before had I quite experienced nature like this. You see, I had the opportunity to get up close and personal with the glaciers. By traveling in a Zodiac, we were able to get as close as safely possible to witness this.
Wow! Yeah! Oh my goodness.
When you travel to Alaska, you get used to seeing boats of all types, but you never tire of seeing them because they all have a story to tell. Every building was as interesting as the next, and as interesting as the people who lived within them. I really learned so much from the proud people of this wonderful land, and they live in harmony with it. And then there were the totem poles, the wonderful totems. Each one had its own story to tell. I could sit and look at them for hours, only trying to will them to share their story. But then I realized the longer I looked, the more I understood the story that they had to tell. While aboard the National Geographic Quest, I had the privilege to travel with wonderful guests and other teacher fellows. Our naturalists were our teachers and guides. Each one, being experts in their field, taught us about the animals of the land, the water, and the air. Our naturalists taught us how each of the creatures, whether large or small, were interconnected and relied on one another. We have a responsibility to protect and preserve the wonderful land and water that we visit and borrow from them. I could never get enough of looking for the wildlife that was simply all around us. It came in all shapes and sizes. With camera in hand, I watched with the other guests and naturalists as a pod of 50 killer whales swam off the bow of our boat, giving us incredible opportunities to enjoy and watch them in their natural environment, and also capture a few on our cameras. Have you ever heard of Dall's porpoises? These little guys would swim in groups off the bow of the Quest for what seemed like miles, simply for the pure pleasure of surfing with their buddies. And then there were the bears, beautiful, powerful creatures of Alaska. They were elusive and hard to find. Once we spotted them, we never wanted to see them go. So we cherished our moments, took a few photos, and then bade them farewell. Mountain goats are revered in the indigenous culture. They climb gracefully, high in the mountains, close to the Creator. They're also very smart and wise. This guy was looking intently in the distance, and my eye was drawn to the spot. I looked carefully and closely, and saw what it had seen. Stellar sea lions are amazing animals. I could watch them for hours. In the water, they move quickly and effortlessly, and they're fierce hunters. It's quite the opposite on land, however, where they just like to chill and fight for the best spot on the rock. Although we didn't see many on the National Geographic Quest, sea otters were always a delight to watch when they poked their heads above the surface and gave us a chance to enjoy their company. On one of the last evenings, a pod of the second largest whales in the world, the fin whale, came close to our boat. Although they don't give you much, one fluke is all it takes to leave you breathless. Come on with me aboard a Lindblad expedition, National Geographic, Zodiac, and experience the beauty and power of the water of the Pacific. And while you're at it, keep your eyes peeled for stellar sea lions. My expedition aboard the National Geographic Quest ended when I arrived in Sitka, Alaska. I was leaving Sitka, Alaska, the Inside Passage, and the Pacific Ocean, but I was returning home to Thunder Bay, to the place where my heart will always be and my explorations began. I want you to know you don't have to travel far to explore. You also don't need a car, a plane, or a boat, because you have your feet. You also have your imagination, and more than likely, a set of wheels. So go ahead and jump in. The sky's the limit. You're never too young to explore. Get out there, hit the trails, and seek adventure. It's right in your own backyard.
few weeks ago, I returned from my expedition to the British and Irish Isles. It was such a great opportunity to explore, but when I was young, I definitely did not have the chance to cross an ocean to go exploring. I started much closer to home. My home was Cincinnati, Ohio, and the places I started exploring were parks, city parks, state parks, and when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I had the chance to go on a school field trip to my first national park. The Hopewell Culture National Historical Park is still a place that I love. It's covered in huge old trees and these amazing rolling green hills that when you look closely, you realize they're actually mounds built in geometric shapes and snake patterns. The people who built these mounds lived there about 2,000 years ago. And when you visit a place like that, it makes you feel connected to the ancient people and the history of the place, which then makes you feel responsible for protecting that place that was sacred to someone who lived a long time before you. So, if you're ready to explore, no excuses, go out and find a park.
Hi, I'm Carrie Piper, and I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. Later on this summer, I'm going to be circumnavigating Iceland with Lindblad expeditions in National Geographic. But you don't have to go far from home in order to explore new places. Growing up, I used to camp a lot with my family, but more often than not, it was my siblings and I running around outside in the backyard seeing what we could see. So for example, this is my backyard right now. There's so much to explore. In fact, in order to explore, all you have to do is just look around you. Maybe it's looking up high in the trees or down in the ground, rustling some leaves, or just looking in the cracks in the sidewalk. So whatever you do, I hope you join me and journey to the nearest faraway place and never stop exploring.
That you don't have to travel far to find out new things and to discover new things.
Each time I explore, I learn more and more about people, and I learn more and more about how important it is that we should listen to each other, care for each other, and hopefully make our world better because we listen and care for each other. So I hope you will be able to explore more. I hope you will learn more about the people who are part of your world, and that you'll learn to become empathetic and caring, and hopefully create a world where we all take care of each other and we all support each other.
I just got back from an expedition from the Pacific Islands where I was doing culture studies of the Polynesians. And I think the one thing that I learned is that you don't have to go that far to explore. Sometimes all it takes is just to get outside your door, have some questions, and go find out.
But you don't have to travel that far to wonder and learn about this beautiful world that we live in. And the more I know about it, the more I feel stewardship to take care of the earth. I hope you do too.
The thing about exploring is supposed to make you think, and it's supposed to test you, and it's supposed to make you say, boy, I don't know if I can do that, but I'm going to give it a try.
Hi friends, my name is Jean. I'm the one in the blue, on the left. Along with me are two of my other teacher exploring friends, Peg and Kat. We were all in St. Louis, my hometown, just this past week, talking about exploration and how to bring those journeys to our students. For me as a kid, I loved finding any place that I could go and explore, particularly places in nature. I would gather up the closest leaves and sometimes use them to make fun art projects. Good books are a great way to take you on all sorts of adventures and journey. It can take you somewhere in the world that you've never been before. And when you pick up another book, explore another destination and journey, you're sure to end up somewhere else.
How often do you look up at the sky above you, or listen to the trees around you, or the birds, or the bugs below? My name is Allison, and I'm proud to be a 2019 Grosvenor Teacher Fellow and circumnavigate Iceland this summer. But my curiosity never stops just with the thought of going to another place in the world. My curiosity is often focused right where I live in my own backyard. I think it's really important that we get out and explore, and I loved doing that as a kid and I still love doing it now. I love asking questions about the environment around me and sharing stories about what I've seen and what I've learned. I really want you all to get outside and to learn about what the trees are in your backyard, how they help and support us, understand what it is that we need to do for them, and share those stories with others. Being curious happens in your own backyard and sharing those stories with others. Get out and be curious. Never forget that your own backyard is an exploratory opportunity. Be curious always, my friends.
I hope that you get out and explore your own world. All it takes is some curiosity and some time. You will be forever changed. Use that as one step in the journey, and maybe someday you can get to wild, faraway places that you dream of today.